to Scrollin', episode 97. I'm Kat. Joining me, as always, Davius Starjumper. How's it going, man?
It's going good.
Do you know what week it is?
Yeah, it's patch week.
Well, it is patch week.
Patch launch week?
It is patch week, but that's not what I was getting at. It's my birthday week.
Oh, that's right.
But you're right. It is patch week.
Well, look at what Zos gave you for your birthday. They released the patch.
Mm-hmm. It's the best gift of all.
That was it. They took the Frost Warden away from, they're just giving you all sorts of gifts. What official day is your birthday?
Saturday.
Okay.
It'll be this coming Saturday.
All the listeners, get prepped and
March
ready.
18th.
Prepped and ready.
So that's katsparrowhawk@gmail.com. If you don't want to email me like any gift cards or anything like that, that'd be totally cool.
Please just everybody just email them and just say happy birthday. Just flood the inbox.
Grizzly said blood mist for your birthday. Honestly, that is like the thing I'm feeling so stoked about right now is the new blood mist. We're going to talk about that. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, okay. We're just going to go ahead and get into this thing. So Scribes of Fate DLC, it just dropped yesterday. So it's 1 day old. We've barely had any time to scratch the surface, but we've gotten as much in as we possibly can around our work schedules and stuff.
We've done a pretty good job, I feel like.
Honestly, yeah, man, we got a ton of BGs in, some awesome games last night, just some amazing games. We had a bunch of people in the Discord, great players. Everybody was on last night. I mean, it was popping off.
It was nice.
Yeah, we're going to talk about PvP stuff later, but I just want to mention that there is this energy amongst the PvP community right now. Like, people are feeling really excited about kind of the meta situation. I think the fact that we're getting a new class here pretty soon has gotten some people hyped as well. The fact that the Wall of Frost situation, it looks like it really is toned down quite a bit. Yeah, it's just spirits have been so high amongst the PvP guilds and stuff that we've been in here lately. It's just been really good to see.
Yeah, it has been.
Pretty smooth release as far as I can tell. I haven't run into any major bugs really. There's an issue with breaking free on gamepad that we thought was a bug at first, but it's actually, they just changed how break free works on gamepad.
It's actually a fix. We thought it was a bug, but it turns out it's a fix.
It's a fix, but according to Uncle Sam, he plays on controller. It does make it a lot more difficult to have fast reaction time when you're breaking free. Because previously it was you tap left and right trigger simultaneously. Now it's more like the default binding for a mouse and keyboard where you hold left trigger, then tap right trigger while you're holding that. And that's how you do it.
It's going to be the first stepping stone to lead all these controller players to the mouse and keyboard.
They'll find their way here pretty soon.
They'll find their way. Just walk down the path.
But otherwise, I haven't ran into any bugs. There hasn't been any login issues, no loading screen issues, I haven't had any lag or input delay, really, anything like that. It's been pretty nice. We kind of anticipated that because PTS was so they kind of threw the stuff out there week 1, made some minor adjustments week 3, and then that was just kind of it. So they had a lot of time to really, I think, iron some stuff out and make sure it was a nice, smooth launch.
Yeah.
Let's see here. As far as surprises in the patch notes, not a lot. There is one thing though, that new Rune Carver's Blaze set. That's that light armor set. It deals extra flame damage on the 3rd tick of your damage over time abilities. So the original iteration of this is it would deal damage only on the 3rd tick. So not the 6th or the 9th or the 12th. So now it will deal damage every 3rd tick. So 3, 6, 9, 12, on and on and on. But then they did reduce the damage by 47%.
It was great change. Oh, wait, nope. Second sentence came in and never mind.
It doesn't seem like this is going to be a super great set. Go ahead, David.
No. I was just going to say the biggest surprise for me is Snake in the Stars stuff just going to be that's if you want to make gold, just sell Snake in the Stars stuff. That's the surprise to me right now.
I got a decisive resto staff blue as a rewards for their worthy.
Blue.
Reward.
Could we just focus on that? Just the key word there. A blue decisive staff.
There was no Tamriel Trade Center data, because it just came out. So I was just we'll try 1 million. It sold in less than an hour.
1 million gold for a blue decisive staff. What is going on? You know who didn't get a single Snake in the Stars piece
You?
to sell? This guy from all the BGs last night. You know what though? I like being poor. I think it's cool.
Oh, well, that works out for you then.
Yeah, I prefer that way. Actually, it's part of my character's profile.
Well, it's lucky that that's what you are then.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. I really like to role play as someone who doesn't have a whole lot in the game.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about this rune carver set though. So it deals damage every third tick of your dots, but I wanted to just kind of remind everyone that if you remember, sticky dots were all rebalanced recently so that they all tick every 2 seconds, right? So this thing isn't proccing every 3 seconds with sticky dots. It's ticking every 6 seconds, you know. And with I put this on the build editor with about 6,000 weapon damage. The tooltip on this thing is about 1,500. So if you think about this in like a PvP setting, you're typically, if you're using dots, they're sticky dots or dots that you cast on someone. So they're all ticking every 2 seconds. So now, every third tick, which happens every 6 seconds, is getting an extra 1,500 damage with this thing. Seems pretty weak. Seems like probably the only place you would want to use it would be maybe in PvE if you're using a lot of ground dots, which tick every 1 second. In that case, I did a little math. If you could potentially have as many as 5 ground dots on your build. That's the maximum that are like available to you, right?
Okay.
So, like you could have Caltrops, Wall of Elements, Endless Hail or Stampede, Mystic Orb, and a class ability. So if you had all of those and you had 6,000 weapon damage, that would be giving you about 2,500 DPS. Is about what you'd get there, according to my calculations.
It doesn't seem like very much.
Doesn't seem like a ton. Does not seem like a ton, and I think totally not worth using at all in PvP.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer because I think that set, I think there were some people that were potentially excited about it, but it that there's a Stoons treatment right there. That got Stoons.
That's the old Stoons treatment. Have you dipped into these dungeons at all, Davius?
I have not. Have you hopped into both of them already?
I've done them.
You're just a PvE fool now.
I have a funny story. So shout out to Slavka. He wanted the monster set that comes from Scrivener's Hall. So, you got to do veteran to get the monster set.
Okay.
And, I have this new heavy attack build that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. I'm feeling pretty confident about PvE here lately. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. Couldn't get past the first boss.
Ouch.
We gave up on the first boss. We tried it maybe 10 times. It was me and Slavka and basically 2 randoms. Probably 10 attempts on the first boss.
Oh my gosh.
And we said, let's go do some BGs. And that's what
was it. Was it a damage issue, heal issue, tank issue, all of the above?
It's a ton of mechanics that were not really obvious exactly how to do them, that we just kept getting killed by stuff that we thought we'd figure part of it out, and we did figure some stuff out, but then there's like some new mechanic now that we have to deal with, and it was going to take a while, and we were planning on it just being kind of let's just do a run real quick and then do some BGs. We weren't trying to sit here and spend 3 hours figuring out these boss mechanics and everything. It looked cool. It was like in this big library with lots of bookcases, and it seemed like there were mechanics that involve the bookcases. Like you go in these aisles with books and you have to interact with them somehow.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm going to have to watch a video or go in there with a group that knows what they're doing or something like that. I did that. So that was yesterday. Just this morning, actually, I queued up and I did the normal versions of both dungeons just to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think they'll both be pretty darn difficult on veteran. It seemed like it just based on what I saw in normal. There's a lot going on. The Scrivener's Hall, it was really cool looking. It's very like kind of library themed. It's a lot of like, aisles and aisles of books and stuff like that. There's a lot of like underground areas too. It's very kind of like labyrinthine. There's like glowy mushroom, colorful stuff everywhere. There were parts that honestly kind of reminded me a lot of Elden Ring. I got the impression, I honestly get the impression that these developers played a lot of Elden Ring last year, just based on some of the set design here. They have this giant Omega Beam ability that is straight up copy pasted from Elden Ring. I mean, they definitely got that idea from that. Which, by the way, one of the bosses, I think it was in Balsanar. Yeah, the first boss in Balsanar uses that ability, so you can see it in action
Oh,
there.
okay, that's cool.
Also, in Scrivener's Hall, I noticed some of just the basic mob enemies are using the tentacle arm ability, hitting people
Mm.
with that. Seems like it just does damage as far as I can see.
Is it an AoE or just single target?
Looked like it was just a single target, is what it looked like.
Oh, interesting.
Um, so, I mean, I'm sure the actual player versions of those abilities will be a bit different, but you can at least kind of see those in action there in those dungeons.
That's cool.
Um, Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, in Scrivener's Hall, there's a little scamp boss. Like, you run up on a little scamp that's like a normal looking, is knee-high scamp, but he has a giant boss health bar. You have to like fight him like a boss. And we had to like all like, DPS him and tank him and everything. It was really funny.
I wonder if he's like hard to target.
I mean, it didn't seem hard for us, but it was on normal, so we just burned him down immediately. But it was just hilarious.
That is hilarious.
That's like another like FromSoft, like Elden Ring or, Dark Souls just kind of thing. Like they'll have enemies in their games that are like that look like some small, unassuming little thing, but it will freaking murder you if you don't pay attention. That's why I think they got a lot of inspiration from that game.
They just played some Elden Ring.
I really
got
think
some
so.
ideas.
Hey, they get more. That was an amazing game, so get all the
Mm.
ideas totally.
I need to test out my tank build and run these dungeons with you.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to try some veteran?
Sure, why not? I'm a glutton
You
for
want to really test it out?
You got to turn my CP off. Tell you what.
Might have to watch a guide video or something before jumping back in there on veteran. It seemed tough.
I'd give veteran a shot. What's that monster set do that you guys were trying to get?
That's that one that I think you said that you wanted to get a hold of. That's like when you overheal someone, you give them resistance, and when you regular heal them, you give them something else.
Okay,
Vitality, maybe something like that.
Sounds I'm intrigued.
It seemed pretty good. So yeah, I've been in PvE mode here lately. I did these 2 dungeons, but really like the last couple of weeks, I would say 75% of my playtime has been PvE.
Over the 50, not splitting it 50-50 or more
yeah,
PvE.
I think it's
oh man,
it's mostly what I've been doing. Yeah, I do like a few BGs at night, but the rest of the time when I'm logging in, I've just been doing like dungeons and stuff.
Uncle Sam, friend of the podcast, just collapsed out there somewhere. The second you said that statement, he just collapsed.
Grizzly says that monster set, according to Reddit, is broken, just doesn't work. So PSA.
Well, there you go.
But anyway, I've been in this PvE mode because I put together this heavy attack build that everyone is using lately. I've been using it on a sorcerer and a nightblade, but I was inspired by King Nar. Shout out to King Nar. We told a story, and it's been a few episodes now, about how King Nar was doing a normal Vatishran run, and we were watching him stream it the whole time. And he got to the end and saw the perfected weapon and realized it was veteran the whole time. And he was using this heavy attack Sork build to do that. So that was, when I saw that, I was like, all right, I got to make me one of these builds. That's just ridiculous. So, I mean, I'm sure most people listening to this already know what the build is, but it's, just in case you don't, it's 5 pieces Sergeant's Mail, 5 pieces Stormmaster, the Oakensoul Ring, and 1 piece Slime Craw. It's the only way to PvE, guys. I'm telling you, just make this build. The set's all super easy to get a hold of. They come from base vanilla dungeons. You can do them on normal. So super worth it. 1 single bar. You activate 2 abilities, maybe 3, and the rest of the time you're just holding down a heavy attack and doing 100k DPS. It's awesome. The bar setup that I'm using, I'm actually not using the 100k DPS bar setup because I'm going for simplicity. That's good enough is my goal. Okay. So you got to use Wall of Lightning, and no matter like what class you use that build on, Wall of Lightning is a mandatory ability. And then I'm using both of the pets, and then the Entropy Dot, Hardened Ward, and the Atronach Ultimate. Entropy is just a dot, and the reason I like it is because it's just some consistent damage over time, and it's a really long-lasting duration. I'm going for simplicity here, so I'm just kind of getting these long duration timers going, and then I'm just holding down a heavy attack until it's time to restart those timers. So that's the reason. I could probably do like the Daedric Prey ability to make my pets do more damage, and that might be more DPS, but you have to cast that like every 6 seconds, and that's too much. I'm cruising now. I'm in cruise control mode now. I don't want to be pushing buttons every 6 seconds.
Okay, okay.
If I'm solo, I get rid of the matriarch, and I get rid of entropy, and I replace those with critical surge and elemental susceptibility. And with those two changes, while I'm solo, that gives me more damage and better survivability. I can basically face roll everything with critical surge and that damage shield. Um, I mean, I've gone through tons and tons of world bosses. I think there was one in Western Skyrim I couldn't beat, but every other world boss I've come across, I've soloed veteran dungeons. I did a veteran Black Rose run, not solo, but with a group. But with the pet sork, and compared to I had been doing these weekly runs of veteran Black Rose with my mag blade. Night and day difference with this heavy attack sork. It's so much easier. The survivability, the damage, the AoE damage. I think one thing that really makes it so good on a sork is the fact that they have a class ability that's a damage shield. They have that hardened ward ability, and no other class can do that with this build because the two sets you're wearing are medium and heavy armor, so you can't use that light armor damage shield ability. And there really aren't any other good ones that you really have easy access to. But a sork has a really, really good one that they can put on, and in PvE, a good damage shield is super duper valuable. I think that's a big reason that they work so well. The pets, I think, are another good reason because they are targetable and they draw a lot of aggro off of you. So that helps a lot too. But yeah, I strongly recommend it, man. It's like if you want to join a trial group and you're not sure if you're good enough or what, if you have this build, you are good enough. You can do it. So, strongly recommend it. I copied the exact same gear. I put it all on my mag blade. It works it works to me almost exactly as well DPS wise. Like I get almost the exact same DPS on my mag blade as I do on my sorcerer. He's using Wall of Lightning, Twisting Path, Merciless Resolve. Concealed weapon, I don't actually use that. I just have it slotted for the 10% extra damage. Vigor for the heal and the Destro ultimate. And then when I'm solo, I just replace Merciless Resolve with Elemental Susceptibility. And that actually is more damage, believe it or not. Plus it's simpler because Elemental is a much longer duration. Yeah, the DPS is great, but the personal survivability is not even close to what it is on a sorcerer. There's like quite a few world bosses that I can just kind of do blindfolded on the sork that I can't do at all on the mag blade.
What about the simplicity of like just the build?
The simplicity of the DPS rotation is pretty similar. It's a little bit more if I'm with the group setup because Merciless Resolve, that's one that I have to cast every 6 seconds, but it's so much damage that you just got to do it, like you just have to swallow that and do it. So just for that one reason, you're casting that one ability every 6 seconds. It makes it just a little bit more involved, but still very simple. It's just two ground AoEs, Wall of Lightning, Twisting Path, and then you're doing heavy attacks and doing that Merciless Resolve basically every third heavy attack. It's also probably my favorite thing about it is just kind of an accident. It's a very fast build. Like Twisting Path, that ground AoE, that gives you and everybody else major expedition. Concealed weapon, while you have that slotted, that's minor expedition that gives you. So once I noticed that, I went ahead and slotted the Celerity CP that makes you like 10% faster. And I'm just freaking zipping around everywhere, and I'm not even really trying to be fast. I just kind of have ended up that way. It's really fun. I just kind of blaze through everything.
Nice.
I wanted to mention some other useful CP. I'm like, it's like I'm rediscovering PvE for the first time. So I'm probably just saying a bunch of stuff that a lot of people already know. But the Spirit Mastery CP I have found to be very, very useful. That's the one that makes it faster to res allies when they die. It makes it a lot faster, and it's a big reason we've been able to make it through some of these veteran Black Rose runs to get those reses off before a mechanic kills me or whatever. Strongly recommend that one. Also, the slippery CP. That's the one that makes you automatically break free when you're stunned, and it has a 21-second cooldown. To me, the 21-second cooldown makes it not worth it in PvP. I mean, you're being stunned all the time there. But in PvE, you get stunned maybe once every 30 seconds, if that, like this basically, you're getting the full benefit from that. And like in Veteran Black Rose, there are some mechanics that you have to break free very quickly or it's a problem. And so with this slotted, it's just, you don't even have to think about it. It just happens on its own. Pretty nice. So anyway, yeah, shout out to Exolion and Zoe, and Bill Murray this time was our tank doing Black Rose. Shadow was unavailable; he had to work. So Bill Murray himself, if you can
Bill
believe it.
Murray, that's what a tank. That's amazing.
Yeah. He plays ESO, turns out. I've also been doing my daily veteran pledges. I've been doing just random veterans just for fun. It's like, oh, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to queue up for a random vet, see how it goes. I'm actually looking forward to the veteran DLC dungeons. That's something that I've really, yeah. Like I've always avoided these in the past. Like I never want to do veteran DLC dungeons. If that's my like random that I get, it's always a bummer.
I've gone through to do the dailies, and I mean your usual MO has always been like, let's do the 2 easy ones. We're not going to do the DLC. Ones.
Exactly. Or if we do, we'll do it on normal.
Yes,
that's what it, because you get these random pugs and they don't know mechanics. I often don't know the mechanics either. A lot of the time, the DPS just isn't there. That's often a big part of the problem is just the DPS isn't there, the group DPS. And that just isn't a problem now. Like everyone has this heavy attack build. Anyone can have great DPS. You can even if you don't activate any of the abilities on your bar with that build, if you just hold that heavy attack button down and nothing else, I mean, that'll get you probably 50, 60K on a trial dummy, just that alone.
Jeez.
So like I'm literally
to think about.
Yeah, like literally anyone can do it. So, I've done Shipwright's Regret, Dreadcellar, Earthenroot Enclave, The Cauldron, Cradle of Shadows, Bloodroot. Graven Deep actually is pretty difficult, and Scalecaller Peak is still pretty difficult, but we got through them though, which for a pug in the past, I feel like is not very, probably not even half the time that happens, that you're able to actually finish those in a timely manner. But they were pretty easy, like maybe wipe out 1 or 2 times, but then get back up and get through it. It's all thanks to this heavy attack build, man. I love it. I think it's great. I applaud it. I say, long live the heavy attack build.
I would say, I mean, I think you're the perfect example of like, if it's getting players more into the PvE content, like that's their goal, right? Like,
yeah. And I'm going to go back to Elden Ring again because
Are you missing Elden Ring? Is this what's happening here?
Well, it's a wonderful game, but I genuinely really do think that they have taken a lot of notes from that game. They saw the success of that game. They saw the things that people like about that game. And it seems to me like they're trying to implement some of the things, what they can into this game. Like, for example, in Elden Ring, like those games are known for being very difficult, right? And the way they handle difficulty, there is no menu setting. You can't turn it on easy mode, but you can make those games very easy on yourself by using certain kinds of builds.
Huh.
Specifically a mage build in Elden Ring, that's the easy mode build. If you want to, there's certain bosses that are known for being incredibly difficult, except if you're a mage, it's a cakewalk, and there might be other builds that you can use that would kill that boss faster, but that's more difficult to do, and that's kind of a situation we're in right here. You can play this mage build and do very good DPS. You can do it easily. You can get through the content. You can experience the content and have fun doing it. You're not going to be the best. The best of the best have to do something much more complicated than that, but you're going to be able to get through it and see it and have fun doing it. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's coming from a longtime Magblade main who has by far the most complicated DPS rotation of anyone. So I'm just happy to not have to do that anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of PvE talk. Davis, anything else to say related to PvE or anything we've talked about?
I mean, my biggest thing is that I gotta make me one of these builds. It didn't seem
Yes.
difficult. My biggest thing with making this build is that there's so many, and I'm sure I feel like you're a little bit. I say a little bit, a lot better at kind of farming. If there's a build you're wanting to go with, you'll go farm the sets. That's always a struggle for me. Like if I have a build idea and I've got to go farm a dungeon for it, like there's a 50% chance I just won't go through with the build.
Yeah.
But
Well, these are very easy. You can just do it on normal, and you'll get them very quickly, and then you'll just have that.
yeah, I'm not even talking about that. But if I get this build put together, if I can actually get this build and put it together, then it opens up the door to farm these,
Hmm.
these DLC dungeons and on vet, and so I think that's the part that I'm most excited to put one of these builds together, is to actually be able to potentially go and actually farm these, have quick runs, and be able to, just like you said, just kind of go on to easy mode, but still be able to farm some of these sets that I've wanted for a long, long time.
Yeah, and like Oaken Soul in PvE, man, it never really occurred to me. Oaken Soul, like the defensive benefits of Oaken Soul are amazing. I mean, all the things that make it great in PvP. You never have to, stop to rebuff your abilities. They're just all active all the time. You have that minor protection, the minor mending. Um, your armor buff is permanently active. Like you're just surprisingly resilient. Like dealing with like really difficult mechanics and things like that, they're super duper punishing. They're not quite as punishing if you're on an Oaken Soul build. You get a little bit of extra buffer.
I'm sold. Just got to struggle to farm these sets, and then just let it go.
Grizzly Khan says we'll help. Who's this we, Grizzly? I already farmed mine. So
He signed you up. You don't have a choice anymore.
uh, no, hey, we're both off tomorrow, so we just might.
There you go.
So as much as we can in the past 24 hours since this patch dropped, we've played as much BGs and as much PvP as we can to kind of get a sense of at least what the early meta is looking like. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks before we, really settle into what the meta is really
Yeah.
going to be. But we're getting a little peek right now.
Yeah. I think that the first couple of days are nice to get a meta, because you can tell, like, nobody's really changed their builds a whole lot yet, and so you can kind of see the builds that were popular in the previous meta, and you can tell, like, oh, that was the build that was previous popular, and it's not near as oppressive now. Like, you can kind of
Yeah.
see the change. You still see the same builds, but their performance is a lot different.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are just kind of jumping in with the build they already had. Some people don't even realize there was a patch,
Yeah. Yep.
um, so something I've noticed it's been a trend lately, but it's definitely has come to a peak is the sweaties. The sweaties are
Oh
back in full
man,
force.
the swampies, if you will.
The
The
swampies.
swampies are back.
That's a throwback. Um, yeah, just seeing all these names, we continue to see names. I'm like, man, I forgot about that guy. Man, that dude was godly back in the day, and now he's back and still godly.
Still just as good. It's you're happy to see it,
Yeah,
and then a single tear slides down your cheek. Like it's their first
yeah.
VG in a year. They just still got it.
It makes you realize how easy we've had it for the past like 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, it really does because like, okay, I'm really having to try now. But no, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
It means the game
absolutely.
is healthy, and that's only going to make us better too.
Absolutely.
Um, the frost spam so far has disappeared. Like from what I've seen so far, it just does not exist anymore. Has that been the case for you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we did a whole bunch of BGs, and I feel like in most of all of them, I could move around. And even the ones where some of the frost wardens still carried over, it was not near as oppressive. Like it wasn't near as bothersome. Um, could still move. I definitely think the frost is almost non-existent.
Yeah, I did a duel with our friend Uncle Sam. He put together basically the most toxic like frost build he could figure out, like stacking a bunch of snares. His idea was like, all right, I'm not going to immobilize you, but I'm going to slow you down as much as I possibly can. And we're going to see how bad that is. And in a duel scenario, it was not that bad. Like I could still move. Like those immobilizations, they disrupt you so much. You have to
Yeah.
dodge out of it. Like it completely disrupts your combo. You can never like fully go through your damage combo.
Hmm.
But with the snares, you totally can. Like it's totally fine. Um, and in a battleground setting, I didn't feel like it was that much of an issue either. Like I might get slowed down a little bit, but I'll just do a little roll dodge or a little mist form zip out of there, and then I'm all good after that. So, and that's on like the most extreme version of that build he could put together. So I'm just not worried about that anymore. I think that's just not a problem now.
I would agree. It seems like mobility is kind of back, much better than it was just a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Oh, it's so back. It's a mobile age now. Um, Wardens in general, I've not seen a ton of wardens. I mean, I've seen some of them, but I think a lot of them are trying to pick up the pieces out of this. Okay, I can't be this like annoying toxic frost spammer anymore. What do I even do with myself now? Um, so they're kind of in hiding right now, but I have a feeling once things kind of settle, I do think we will maybe see a return of those wrecking blow,
Ooh,
warden brawlers of days past. I
yeah.
hope so.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I want to go on record. I absolutely prefer the Wrecking Blow Warden over the Frost Warden, like
Oh
100%
yeah,
any day of the week. But I'm excited to see him back. But man, those Wrecking Blow Wardens, those
they're
guys hit
brutal.
hard. They are. They'll come after
They
you.
hit
But
hard, and they're a warden. You know what I mean?
they're
They
tanky.
have all the
Yeah,
things that
they're
make a
hard to take them
warden
down. They're
good.
tanky. They got the
Yeah.
cleanses.
Yes. And just all that toolkit. They can just kind of have it all. But I think there's a good chance for one. That is a spec that has low key always been good. Like it has never been bad. It's just
Yep.
I've been saying it forever. It's been unpopular, but it has always been good this entire time. Now with Wrecking Blow getting that major berserk, that rivals the Frost Staff now. Like you can justify using a two-hander instead of a Frost Staff, or maybe you could use both. Um, because Frost Staff gives you 12% bonus damage as a warden. You get Wrecking Blow, that's giving you a 10%. But plus you're holding a two-hander, so you have more weapon damage on your stat sheet. So that's going to actually exceed the 12% you would be getting from a Frost Staff. So I could definitely see a lot of wardens opting to just do that instead. And honestly, I think that would be a build that would probably actually be better at getting kills. Like maybe not bigger damage number or healing numbers and stuff, but actually like kill counts. I feel like the Stamden would be better at that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Wrecking Blow, Sub Assault, Execute. That's I
Yeah.
mean, that was the combo of the past.
Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, that was the
Mhm.
combo in the past, and that hits hard. That's a
Yeah.
hard
Oh yeah. You
hitting.
you line up a sub assault with a Dawnbreaker. Yeah, that's gonna hit hard. Have a spin to win coming in behind it.
Yeah,
Or I guess if you're using Wrecking Blow, you'd be an executioner, but yeah.
yeah. I'm excited to see kind of the Executioner come back. That's a fun ability.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for those Warden brawlers, and I think of Warden brawlers in my mind. I always automatically think of Necro brawlers. They just seem to go together in my mind. At one point in the past, they did. Necros don't really hold up now, I don't think, but I don't know. Maybe they can utilize that Wrecking Blow. I mean,
That's
of
true.
course they can, and maybe Uncle Sam can work some magic.
Yeah, I'd love to see some Necro Brawlers come back. That would also be great.
Yeah, be
I think
nice.
I think brawling right now is in a very good place, but
Oh yeah,
I would like to see the DKs challenged a little bit in the brawling world. I think that'd be good.
yes. Um, Yeah, that's another thing about so far in the meta. It's just DKs, man. They're on the loose. They were already just like too much. Man, you just can't deal with DKs right now. Like, just try to avoid them. Is my advice. They're stronger than ever. I've seen some using. I've honestly seen more using Wrecking Blow than Chains as their source
Mhm,
of
mhm.
major berserk. Seems to work really really well for them. Most of the people who have killed me in the last 24 hours have been Dragon Knights. I would say I don't know, just in a rough estimate, probably 80% of the people who've killed me. Which that's maybe just an indication of how many people are playing Dragon Knights. 80,
Yeah,
80% of the people I play are playing Dragon
I'm over
Knights.
here laughing because I have not played a Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
I've only played Dragon Knight, so I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, they're a great class. They're fun. I mean, they've always been awesome just visually, and the kind of power fantasy of the class has always been really cool.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I think Dragon Knights are going to be reigning supreme probably for most of this patch. But I think some Warden brawlers could challenge them if
Yeah.
they wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing to me about, and you just said it, but I'll say it again, is that Warden class is set up so well to brawl. They're so inherently tanky, and that sub assault is such a good delayed burst that you can really do some pretty great things with a brawling Warden. And now that Wrecking Blow is kind of gotten buffed, I could see I think that is going to get more and more popular. I'm 100% with you on that.
Yeah, to me, what makes Wardens so good is the completeness of their toolkit. Like what makes a PvP good, what makes a PvP build good does it suit your playstyle? Are you good at that build? You specifically, like I'm not very good at playing a Dragon Knight, so I don't really play Dragon Knights all that much because that toolkit just isn't conducive for like being fast and kitey and all that kind of stuff. But a Warden, whatever is conducive to your playstyle, a Warden has that in their toolkit.
That's so true.
I think that's part of what makes them so good is you can just however you like to play, whatever works well for you, you can do it.
That's so true.
But I'm not seeing a lot of sorcerers, and it's still early. It's just one day, so I have not seen a lot of sorcerers in the past day. But that kind of surprises me. I was expecting to see like sorcerers right out of the gate, kind of getting excited about it. They got a couple little buffs. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Not a lot of sorks. Now here's the big one, the new mist form.
Your birthday present right here.
This is my birthday present. It's even better than I was expecting. It's so awesome. You got to get this new mist form. It's really fun to use. I think it takes a little bit of kind of getting used to. It does have a bit of a weird cadence and timing and stuff to it, but within 2 or 3 battlegrounds, it was already second nature. It's actually really, really smooth. I like I've been using it on my Stamplar, old Betsy, and I like how much it helps her with resource management because I can use it as an alternative to roll dodge, right? And it costs magicka, so I can kind of just go back and forth between those two. I can also use it as an alternative to sprint, and I've found that to be incredibly useful. Like if someone's running away from me and I want to chase them down and get that kill, well, if I'm low on stamina, that's a bad idea, right? Because if I catch them, well, I'm going to be out of stamina and I'm not going to be able to do anything. But I can spam mist form. Like oftentimes in that situation, I have a completely full magicka bar. So I can spam mist form a couple of times. I'm right on top of them. I have all the stamina I need, and rest is history. It's great for that. The escape capabilities, like retreating away, like the projectile absorption, is really, really nice. It's no problem to get out of most situations, and it chains together really nice. Like if you spam it back to back to back to back, you look like you never leave mist form. It just kind of keeps on going. It's a much better escape tool than the previous version. It's a straight up buff to the previous version. I know, Davis, in the last episode, you were kind of saying this is a nerf to the previous version, and I was agreeing with you. We were talking kind of theoreticals there. Now that it's been put into practice, I firmly believe it's a straight buff to Mistform. Yes.
I haven't used it, but I do find that surprising just because the old Mistform, I feel like you could stay in for so long.
Well, you can stay in it for so long if you specifically build to do that, but I could not stay in it very long.
Okay.
Like, I would go into Mistform and I would have to have like a line of sight nearby. Like I wouldn't be able to just hang out in Mistform, right? It's something that I would use to travel a short distance to get to safety, and then I come out of Mistform and heal up and all that. So like, there's been a lot of time. Like yesterday, there were a lot of times that, like with old Mistform, I definitely would not have been able to get away. Like there was no line of sight around. It was kind of a wide open area. I would have been able to mist a little ways, but I eventually would have ran out of magicka and they would have gotten me. But with the new mist form, I was just freaking out of there. I was just gone. You
Just the
know?
distance you can get out of it.
Yeah, yeah, and the projectile absorption, like as they're
Oh
trying
yeah.
to attack me as I'm getting away, and I can alternate mist form and dodge and mist form and dodge and just juke and jive and just slip away so easily.
So let me ask you this: do you think that it's maybe a little too powerful right out of the gate?
Don't make me answer that.
I don't want to say. Don't ask me that. Don't ask. I don't want to say.
It's pretty darn good, man. It's so good.
Interesting.
And it's extra fun because you kind of have to use it a lot, right? Because it activates that strike from the shadows passive, the extra 300 weapon spell damage that only lasts 6 seconds. So you're kind of incentivized to just use it a lot, so you just looks cool. You're always just kind of zipping around and stuff. I really like that. The damage
That's
is
what
decent.
that
Oh,
one
go
of
ahead.
the. Well, I was just gonna say you said looks cool. That's one of the things that I have to comment on. We were in a BG yesterday, and one of the coolest. I mean, it was one of the coolest kills I'd seen in a long time. But it was we're in the middle of a brawl, and I was playing on my DK, so I was right up in front, and I saw you hit this misform, and you kind of like zipped into the fight, and right as you're coming out of misform, it led into just your ultimate,
Crescent.
the crescent sweep, and
Mhm.
it was just so seamless. It was like this red cloud that just turned into like a form, and then a crescent sweep came out of it, and then you got the kill, and I was like, I was like, oh, that was 10 out of 10 on
Yeah.
style points right there. That was pretty
Yeah.
fantastic to look and watch.
You can get a lot. You can rack up a ton of style points with that thing. It is a delight to use, and it's straight up functional and just super fun, especially on a Templar or a Dragon Knight or a Necromancer or something that doesn't have built-in mobility. This just gives it to you, and you're good to go.
I have a couple builds that I absolutely want to put this on. I want to put it on my main buff healer build, Davius. I think he'd be
Hmm.
great with it. And then the never ending Nord, just I mean, he has to have this ability.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, oh yeah,
no.
it makes perfect sense for
Yeah.
him.
And maybe more. I don't know. I think that and you've kind of maybe even already answered this, but we talked a lot about how this ability kind of potentially may take the place of Race Against Time. And I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe it really is just like on most characters, it makes more sense to have this than Race Against Time.
I think it should, especially like immobilizations. So far, it looks like mobilizations are just not a problem anymore. Race
Mm-hmm.
Against Time has a lot less value in this meta now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Time may prove us wrong on that, but so far it seems to be the case. I would definitely that's what I would do for sure. Betsy does not have any snare removal. She has never had snare removal in her build, and I've just been kind of dealing with it. But now it's not a problem at all.
Interesting.
Um, what else was I going to say? Offensively, it's on par with Solar Barrage. It actually has the exact same tooltip as Solar Barrage. It accounts for about 6% of my total damage. Not bad, really. You gotta aim it. That's something that has taken me quite a. I'm still actually getting used to it. Is it travels? It doesn't travel the same distance like Streak does. Like Streak always travels the exact same distance every time you cast it, unless you hit a wall or something. This it goes to wherever you point at on the ground. So like if you look straight down, you don't move at all.
I'm curious on like the aiming. Would it be like throwing like a necro totem, like how you aim that? Is
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yes, it's
how you
exactly like that.
Okay. Okay,
Like
interesting.
it like it's a ground cast ability like that or like Caltrops. Like by default, you have to hit the button twice. But if you have instant cast turned on, and then it's instant.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, you target the ground and it goes to where you target on the ground. So if you just want to go the maximum distance, what I do is I just quickly point my camera up, or just kind of
Nice.
look at the horizon,
Hit
and
the
it'll go the
sky.
maximum distance. And another really nice thing I noticed is that you can bar swap mid animation because there's a bit of a channel time to the animation, and you can bar swap while you're in the middle of that animation. And that makes it real. It makes that I think that adds a ton to the fluidity of using it because
Mm.
I have it on my front bar, but I want to dodge on my back bar because I have a bow on the back bar. So I'll mist away, bar swap while I'm in the middle of that mist. So as soon as I come out, I'm just coming right into a roll dodge. It's like totally seamless, so you just can't lay a finger on me. I think
Nice.
that was a really nice little touch for them to make sure you could do that. That helps a ton. Um, it seems like a solid meta so far. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, it's early, but just it seems very promising so far.
We had a lot of fun in the games last night for sure.
Yeah, last night we had some amazing games. Yesterday morning, for me, the games were just sweaty as could be. I think it was the first day of patch, and I think a lot of people were like just trying to test stuff out. And man, those are the most brutal matches I've had in ages. It was like early in the morning, it was like 7 a.m. too. I don't know what it was. Um, I have a sit chair story. Shout out to Grizzly Con. He hit me up. I think it was Saturday. I want to say it was Saturday. And he was like, "Yo, let's go to Imperial City." And I was like, "Let's do it. It's been a while." And it was just me and him. And we did a good old fashioned sit chair night for the uninitiated. You go to Imperial City, you start at home base at Ebonheart Pact, run to the middle and kill all the bosses and mobs on the way there. You get to the middle, you kill Molag Bal, then you go down an enemy tunnel, kill all those bosses and mobs. You make it all the way to their home base, touch the door to show disrespect, and then you sit your booty in that chair.
Gotta show the disrespect. That's a key part.
That's how you show them. That's how they know. And then you sit in your chair of choice, and then you just wait for some people to come out. And of course, you just want to wait for them to attack first. We're on a friendly mission. This is one of the best sit chair nights we've had in a long time, man. You know how it's been. Like the last several times we've gone to the sewers, it's just PvE.
Been a little empty.
This time, man, it was active. We saw a ganker right outside of our home base, a blue ganker. We killed him right away. We saw a group of maybe like 6 blues just a little ways into our territory. It was still our side of the sewers. I think they were all like tanks and healers. They had no damage at all, but we couldn't kill them either. They didn't really seem super interested in fighting, so we just left them alone. We went on. We made it to the middle, and we saw this group starting the Molag Bal fight. It was I think it was another blue group. We wiped them pretty quickly. It was like 3 or 4 of them. Then we took over the Molag Bal fight. It was just me and Grizzly. A couple of yellows came in, killed them right away. A couple of more blues came in, killed them right away. I mean, we're just like, man, this is our sewers, you know? like who else wants so? We finally got Molag Bal down, and we decided to go down Blue Tunnel. Ran into a friendly ally, just a random ally, and he was like coming out of the tunnel, like towards the middle. So we were passing him in like the opposite direction. I randomly invited him to group, and he joined up and just turned around and followed us. He's like, "Okay, we're doing this now."
Fellow sit chair right there. That's how it all starts.
He was totally into it. He touched the door, the whole deal. It was great.
Nice. Glorious.
But and then once we got to the Blues home base, a ton of Blues came out. We actually had a nice little moment there where we weren't fighting right away. We were just kind of being silly, but the powder keg did erupt pretty quickly. We actually wiped, I think it was a group of 4 or 5, somewhere around there. We wiped them several times, but eventually their numbers did build up and they overwhelmed us and they got us. But it was totally worth it, man. We had that's a successful chit chat.
Yeah,
you're supposed to die, you know.
Yes.
You're looking at that.
It should end in death.
Yeah, you're looking at that Telvar meter and you're just cutting it in half mentally. You just know.
Absolutely.
I mean, ideally, you come up against a bunch of enemies and you kill them all, you know, but otherwise, death.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. Made me want to do some more sewer runs. I know they're not always that great. It was Saturday night, so maybe we have to kind of focus on Saturday nights or something.
It may be.
I feel like I've been talking for a long time, Davius. Why don't you tell us what's been going on with Lord of Nords? I know this is basically the only build you've been.
This is it now. Lately. Like, you know, if there was any slight remaining doubt of who my main is, like, it's gone. It's stamped out. It's a done deal. I
don't remember the last time I've seen another one of your characters.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this build's been worse than the Sork, you know, than the Sam Sork ever was. Like,
you gave yourself a limit on that build. You're not even giving yourself any limits on this.
No limits on the Lord of Leaping. He's got no rules on this guy, right? Yeah. He's not about rules.
Well, He rules, but
there you go. Yeah, his rules.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just can't get enough of this build right now. I'll run through a quick reminder of the build. Oaken Soul, it is an Oaken Soul build. 5-piece Ravager on the body, 3 agility, so I dual wield, so 2 weapons agility with 1 jewelry, 2-piece Blood Spawn, and then 1-piece Trainee. The bar that I use, the spammable, I use Noxious Breath, and that ramps up the Ravager as well as the Molten Whip, so I get that passive weapon damage. The delayed burst, and once again, I'll shout out Uncle Sam on this because it really did just change this build night and day. But the delayed burst I use is Deep Breath, and then kind of the finisher that I really focus on is the Molten Whip. It's just kind of that heavy final hit that I need. For kind of the defense and heal, the heal I use is Coagulating Blood, which to me, this is kind of the secret sauce of DK. It's like, this is why when you're going against a DK and you think you've got them, and then you turn around and they're just completely full health.
You're like, like, how did their health bar just fill all the way back up? I put in all that work.
This is the ability that does it. The tooltip on Lord of Nords, it's a 14k tooltip heal, which that in itself, fantastic heal.
That's already good, yeah.
But the part that I feel like is, I don't want to say underrated because I don't think it's underrated, but maybe understated, is that the tooltip on that ability, it has a 50% increased heal based on your missing health. So you can, like, with that 14k tooltip, that could potentially be up to a 20k heal based on how much missing health I have, which is just insane.
Yeah, that's most of your health bar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 2 of those and you're fine. So that's the only heal I run on the build, but it's plenty. And then the Deep Breath has a heal component to it as well. The defense is Quick Cloak. I get Major Evasion and Major Expedition out of that, so I get my speed and the evasion defense. And then I list it as the wild card, but the key to the whole build, the Ferocious Leap, the Lord of Leap himself, I have come to love this build so much for the leaping because it's not even about, I don't even know how to say it now, because it's not even about the leap just being like this really hard hitting AoE anymore. I use it in so many different ways now. It is a hard hitting AoE. He gets it all the time. It's an ult gen build, so he really is just leaping all the time,
constantly.
But I've played the build so much that, we always talk about the brawler support build, and this is just the team brawler support build in my opinion. But I've started just using, I mean, he gets it so much, I start using it in so many different ways. There's so many times that, like, if we're in we're teamed up and we're in the group BGs, and there's somebody on the teams, they're saying, oh, like, I'm under pressure, or this might be it for me, like, I just go and leap into whoever's hitting them. It clears everybody off that player. They fly in all different directions, and it just gives whoever the teammate is a couple extra seconds to kind of recover or get out of the bad spot. I use it as just as much offensively. I use it defensively. There's so many times that I'm almost dead or in a bad spot. I can get to a leap. It gets my resources back up, get the shield, and then I can just kind of restart the fight. The leap is definitely just kind of the final piece that fits this build together.
You always got that pocket leap ready.
Oh, man,
like right when you think you got Davius, leap every time.
got the leap. It is going to start it all back over.
Mm-hmm.
I was in some group BGs with Uncle Sam the other day, and I was just kind of rambling, but I feel like I explained it best, is that it's absolutely not a meta build. It's absolutely not a perfect build, but it is the perfect build for me. You were talking earlier about how the best builds are the ones that just really, you just play to your exact play style, and you just can kind of go with the flow. And that's absolutely what this build has become for me, is that it just goes exactly with my play style. And I feel like I've just got the resources where I understand it better. I understand the movement, where I need to be, kind of when I need to get in, when I need to get out. I've kind of learned to understand when I can jump into a situation and know when I'm going to get that leap again. And it really has become the perfect build for me.
I love that when a build just kind of fits you like a glove. You're not even thinking about what you have to do. It just kind of happens on its own. I love that.
Yeah, and I will say, like I said, this is not a meta build. Like, I've mentioned some of the sets on there that not many people use those sets, but that I think that's the key piece is that when you get to that point where that build's kind of perfect to your playstyle, like it equals results. Like, I mean,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
say Lord of Nords is getting more kills and better scores in Battlegrounds than he's maybe ever gotten in the history of this character. So it's
Yeah,
worked
I
out
would
really
agree.
well.
You've been getting those double digis on the regular. Is double digis on the regular? Is that our title?
The episode title right there. You got to write that one down. I know I need to play another build, but I don't know.
Nah.
It's gonna be tough.
I mean,
Gonna be
do
tough.
you?
Do you just the ultimate brawler all the time?
Yeah, he fits in really nicely with our squad that we've been playing with a lot here lately too. He's just gotta I don't know, he's perfect. He's that wrecking ball. You can
Yep.
you can be that center of attention. You can absorb some damage. The healer has a little something to work with there, and it's kind of it creates this calamity so that the rest of us can kind of do our thing. Really neat.
I mean, exactly. That's kind of the one of the great things about it is that it does not have any team support, but it provides team support in other ways. Like it really does. When I'm on this character in a battleground, he is taking a beating. He's leaping into a fight. He usually gets a lot of focus. He takes a beating. But that it just frees up so many other potential for the rest of the team to get in and do what they need to do.
Well, you're not the only one who's just been playing the same build over and
Over and
over and
over and
over
over.
again. I've also been playing my main, old Betsy. How many episodes in a row now has this basically been the only build that I've had to talk about? You and me both. We're in the same
Yeah.
boat here. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry
I'm
at
not
all.
sorry. I will not apologize.
Like I say, when it's Betsy time, it's Betsy time, and I don't fight it one bit. I do not I never say to myself like, oh, I gotta move on. Like, no. I only move on if just something pulls me away, but I'm not gonna force it at all. So it's the same build that has been for a little while now. Wretched Vitality back bar with a bow, Deadly Strikes as a double bar set, Black Rose dual wield on the front bar, Gaze of Sithis Mythic Helm, and One Piece Magma Incarnate. And it's all about those AoE pulses. Solar Barrage, Deadly Cloak, the new Blood Mist is in there now.
Mm-hmm.
The Crescent Ultimate. I got rid of Reflective Light now that I have Blood Mist in there. That's like, that would have been one too many abilities, as part of my combo that
Yeah,
I'm
to
having
try
to
to keep
juggle.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so I got rid of the reflective light. That was just a dot. I just put Camo Hunter in its place, so I still get the crit. Plus now I have Minor Berserk. Didn't have that before.
Nice.
Um, so that was a good change. Her support kit, Cleansing Ritual, Honor the Dead, and the Barrier Ultimate. Of course, she has Vigor just to heal herself with. Um, and then yeah, that new mist form. I was just talking all about how amazing it is. I mean, it is just how I've been thinking that this is gonna just make Betsy so perfectly perfect. It's better than I could have honestly even imagined. It's what she's been needing since the day she was born, It's like
This is
what
the
her
ability you've been waiting for all this time.
Yes. Oh man, it's so just exactly it just fits with her play style and everything she's been needing. But yeah, it's that final missing piece, and now she really is just like cherry on top. Well, actually, not quite because I still am doing those Black Rose runs. I still haven't gotten
She's
those
gonna get
perfected
that perfect.
maces.
She's gonna get those perfected maces. It's gonna happen.
We're doing one. Oh, I actually need to hit up my squad and make sure we're on for tomorrow. But if everything's as usual, we're supposed to do a run tomorrow. So maybe fingers
Nice,
crossed.
nice.
Yeah. The problem is one of the other people in the group also wants the dual wield, so I have have a pretty big chance of someone getting it, but not me. Uh, but yeah, I mean, how many times can you talk about a character and still have new things to say? I don't know. I mean, I love this new mist form. I played around with the new mist form on PTS and was just kind of running around the overworld, just kind of getting a feel for what it's like, and I definitely was convinced like, oh yeah, I'm going to love this thing. This is great. But actually putting it into practice, actually doing some real PvP, getting into some BGs and really using it, it's amazing. I mean, I 1,000% recommend everyone become a vampire now. I've totally turned around on vampire. You got that undeath passive. You
Yeah.
can't be killed. You got the strike from the shadows for extra damage. Mist form on its own is worth it.
And
Just be a
you have
vampire,
great
man.
access to an ultimate. Like if you don't have an ultimate that you want to use, there you go.
Yeah,
There's a great ultimate.
amazing ultimate. Yep. And
It
one of
is.
those, it's a get out of jail free card, and one of the morphs does a ton of damage too.
Yes. How man, we have gone full circle on the vampires.
Really?
We've done
Yeah,
full circle. It's just
it's
completely.
crazy. Um, yeah, totally. Um, though I've just started, so I've mostly been playing with Betsy, like I said, but I've just started, like as of 2 days ago, um, sort of playing around with my Magsork.
This is true.
Intergalactic is his
I've seen
name.
it. I've seen you on this character. I can
Yeah,
confirm it.
I did like 2 battlegrounds and a little bit of like target dummy, just testing. It's the same build, Kavash Gladiator on the front bar with an Inferno staff, Wretched back bar with a bow, 3 pieces willpower, the Stormweaver mythic pants.
Hmm.
And that's the build. And so I've been using Curse Fury frags and Crushing Shock as my offensive combo, the standard Magsork loadout. I guess the classic Magsork loadout, I guess I would say. Shout out to Gary, and he suggested changing Crystal Frags to the other morph, Crystal Weapon, which is I think of as the stamina morph, right? It costs stamina, and if you don't remember, that's the one that increases the damage of your next 2 light attacks, and I think it's like a 6-second duration. So you cast that thing, and then the next 2 light attacks you do increase damage. Um, it's pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'm 100% going to stick with it or not. I'm going to play with it some more. The damage is amazing. I mean, damage wise, it's more damage than Crystal Frags. The thing the thing I'm kind of tackling with is the Crystal Frag setup is way simpler. It's way easier.
Yeah.
Um, for one, you only cast Crystal Frags when you get the instant proc. You know
Hmm.
the way I have my bar set up, so I'm not actually really even casting it all that often. Whereas with Crystal Weapon, it's literally the ability you're casting more than any other ability. We've explained before how this ability works, or how you're supposed to use it, or how most people use it. You you weave the ability in between all of your other abilities to get the maximum effectiveness out of it. So your light attack weaving with your light attacks, right? Just like always.
Hmm.
But in addition to that, you're casting Crystal Weapon and then whatever other ability, and then Crystal Weapon and then whatever other ability. So like if you're like my combo that I've been using, I want to use Curse and Fury and Crushing Shock as part of my combo. So it's Crystal Weapon Curse, Crystal Weapon Fury, Crystal Weapon Crushing Shock, Crystal Weapon Crushing Shock.
It's almost like a
And you just
second weave, right? It's like a light attack
yeah,
weave and then the crystal weapon weave.
yeah, exactly. It's like another layer of weaving, but when you do that, you're light attack weaving throughout the whole thing, and so if you do it that way, every single light attack is carrying that bonus damage to them. They're never not getting it. It's a constant barrage that's always hitting them on top of the curse and the fury and the crushing shock and everything else that's coming at them. So it's a ton of pressure. It's a lot of damage. You can really take some people apart with that thing. But you're hearing me talk about this. I'm sure you're thinking, and it's absolutely true. It's complicated.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
hard.
I'm
It's a lot of
absolutely
work.
thinking that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. I mean, I would imagine if you spend enough time, you get over time, you get used to it. But it's a very specific, um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very specific rhythm. So it's like
Yes.
just this character would have that rhythm. So if you swapped characters and you switch back to this, I feel like you'd have to get back into the rhythm of it. Uh, and
Yeah.
and it would take a while to get used to that rhythm, even when you're on this character. So those would be my concerns with it.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to. I think, like, my birthday's coming up as I'm getting older, like, just like limitations of my body are like more and more a concern.
Hold
Like
on
how
now.
long
I
till
know
I,
it's your birthday, but you're not too old for ESO. All right, the body's not wearing out for ESO. Come on now.
well, carpal tunnel is a real concern,
Yeah.
and that build will, I think,
That build will
rapidly
lead to
bring
it.
it about. Yeah.
It's on here. All right, the crystal weapons just for the young ESO players. All
Yeah.
right, that's just for the youngins.
Listen, I've done a lot of office work. I do a lot of typing. I got to take care of these babies here. Hands. The babies are hands.
That crystal weapon is the young man's game. All right.
Yeah. And it is a ton of damage. It's pretty fun. It's very, it feels very unique. And I like using it on this build because it makes it feel even more hybridy now with that Stormweaver and the bow back bar. I've talked about before how he's defensively, he's straight up a Stam sort, as far as he's very dodgy and kitey and he uses vigor to stay healed up. And now his main sort of spammable is a stamina costing ability. I like that he's just becoming more and more of a hybrid. So I'm going to try to stick with it. Hopefully my hand can keep up with it.
hopefully the body can hold up.
Yeah. Cause I see that damage. I can already see that potential there. And especially, you got the overload going on top of all of that, right? I mean, just think about that.
I can definitely see how the damage is just ridiculous. Absolutely can see that.
GrizzlyCon says, weaving light attacks and crystal weapons seems way too time consuming for the full sort combo. Curse would be popping early and stuff. Well, it's tough, man, and it's a lot to keep up with. But I did it. I did some battlegrounds with it, and it can be done. You can pull it off, but it's you got to stay on top of it. You got to really manage those abilities. And I'm not really necessarily trying to time things with Curse super precisely. It's just like Curse will pop when it pops, and I have all this other damage coming at them, and then I'll cast Curse back on them when I get back around to it, basically. So I can tell you the damage wise compared to the Crystal Frag setup, it's far superior. But it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Is Sam here?
Well, Uncle Sam joining.
Welcome to the party, friend. Just in time. Perfect timing, buddy. He wants to see if he wins that.
He wants to see if he
gold.
wins that email. Is what he wants. He timed it perfectly. All right, this man is all about precision. He went, "This is right about the time."
It's time to talk about some emails, guys. We've figured out the magic, the formula for getting people to email you. You just pay them. You just tell them that.
It's as simple as that. Who would have thought?
How many episodes? I wonder. Someone needs to figure this out. How many episodes what's the longest run of episodes we've had with where we said emails? No emails this week, but if you'd like to send us an email.
Oh, the record of no emails?
Yeah, the record of no emails.
That might be like how many? 20 or 30, maybe 40.
Those days may be in the past.
I thought you were going to ask what our email streak was, and I feel like we're pretty close to breaking it. 2 weeks.
Probably. I want to say, I feel like 3 is maybe it, but I don't know.
Okay. No pressure on next week, but tie in the record potentially.
Grizzly says 3 is that he thinks. Yeah.
I would trust Grizz on this. I would trust him.
Scrollandpodcast@gmail.com. That is the email address. So if you haven't heard, we're rich. The goons are rich, guys. And so from now on, anyone who emails us has a chance to win a large gold reward every single episode. We will choose one person that emails us, and we're going to give them a large gold reward. Last year, it was 1 million gold. Last episode,
we haven't gotten emails that long.
Gold.
Come on
now. This episode, we're doing another 1 million. I think we're going to do 1 million until we hit 100 episodes, and then we'll figure out what to do after that.
Nice.
We got 3 emails to read today. First one is from Vocal Tick. Vocal Tick says, "Hey, Scroll and Podcast. I'm a big fan of the podcast. I look forward to the pod because I learn something new about ESO every time I listen. I'd love to join the guild and Discord. My main is my Magsork, Rellis Null."
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Vocal Tick. Really awesome to hear from you, man. And I'm glad to hear that you learn new things from the show. Oftentimes when you learn a new thing on the show, you're learning it like a few days after we learned it.
Absolutely true.
That's why we're talking about it.
That's why we're talking about it.
You could do this?
Yeah. I just got to say to Vocal Tick, please, we want to get you in the guild, and please do join the Discord. Come and join in the fun.
It has already happened, Davius. Check the roster, buddy.
Gosh dang it.
Okay, gotta keep up.
Goodness gracious. Look at me way behind.
I think he even said something in the Discord a couple of days ago.
And it's so weird. Old Davius Starjumper's never late.
Yeah, so out of character.
So out of character.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the email. Next email is from Uncle Sam. The subject is shout out to King Nar. Sam says, we've been doing a lot of duos lately. Please break down in detail what you two think are the optimal duo combinations. Thank you. Also, King Nar sucks. Or stinks. King Nar stinks. Sorry.
Well, he doesn't suck. He just stinks, okay? Sam doesn't...
Last week it was sucks.
Yes, last week it sucks, but, Sam's changed his tune. Now he just thinks that maybe King Nar has an odor of some sort.
King Nar's a good friend, just so everyone's clear. It's all jokes. We're not being toxic.
Uncle Sam just clearing it up. Not a bad player, just stinky.
He's not a bad player. He's just a stinky one.
He's just stinky.
Yeah. He smells bad through the internet. Optimal duo combinations. So there are, as far as I can tell, there are 4 options.
4 options. Okay.
You could have a dedicated healer and a pure DPS. You could have 2 self-sufficient DPSs that don't heal each other at all. You could have 2 kind of 50-50s, that do both. Or you could have 1 50-50 and 1 DPS. I think those are basically the possibilities, right? I like to kind of just like lay out what the possibilities are, and then we'll talk about what's the best.
Okay. I would agree with that.
So then I think it's going to depend on, okay, what is the scenario we're putting this duo into, because that's going to determine quite a bit. Like the Ulfadnar style duos tournaments that they do, where they kind of shuffle you around with other duos, so you don't know who your other 2 teammates are going to be. I think probably in that situation, a healer and a DPS is probably the safe choice, and we've experienced that to be a pretty not a bad choice at all.
Yeah,
because you can't run the risk of being on a team that doesn't have a healer at all, and you got to have damage.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that's the way to go. Probably, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if many people would agree with me on this, but I could see a dedicated Warden healer and a totally cracked out Stamsork being a really nasty combo in a duos tournament like that.
That's it's kind of similar to my potential answers on this question. I feel like that's kind of up the same alley.
Yeah. A Warden healer and a DK, or a Warden healer and a Frost Warden would obviously be amazing too. I mean, just would. What do you think?
That was kind of mine. I kind of came in absolutely agreeing with you. I kind of came in with 2 answers. I kind of went more, if you're just doing random, you're just joining up for some random matches with a duo, and you're just trying to get kills, and you're just, playing casually. In my mind, 2 execute Sorks is the way to go in that. I think you're going to have a lot of mobility. If you can move around and the class well, you're going to rack up a crazy amount of kills. People are going to struggle dealing with 2 of you. That's kind of the problem in those, and especially if it's random matches. You try to go after one Sork and he streaks away, so you turn around and get to the other one, then he streaks away, and at that time the other ones come back and start hitting you again. So I think duo execute Sorks is the way to go if it's kind of a random match and you're just trying to rack up a lot of kills. Now, kind of like you were saying, if it's the Ulfadnar, you're going into a really sweaty match, or you're doing like really dedicated squads, it's going to be really high level players. My pick on that was a buff / healing warden, one that's going to buff up the team and do really heavy heal wardens with a brawler DK.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that's the way to go, because here's the thing, with that duo, you're still going to get 2 teammates, and if you've got a strong healing warden that's going to add weapon and spell damage to the team, and you've got a brawler DK that's going to get in there, they're going to pressure the team. They're going to be hard to kill. They're going to, and whatever the 2 teammates are with that are just only going to enhance those 2. So I would say a buff healing warden with a brawler DK is the way to go.
Yeah, I think that's probably it, honestly. I think I just kind of want Stamsork to be in there,
I want it to be this answer.
Yeah. Now, I didn't mention this, but if you're if you were somehow just doing an actual duos tournament, like if we get this lobby system in Q3 that we're hoping for, and you could literally do like only 2 people per team, a situation like that, I think maybe like a 50-50 warden that does damage and healing, and a DK brawler would be a pretty good choice.
I would 100% agree with that, because that I mean, I feel like wardens are the only ones that can really pull that off too, because a 50-50 warden is still cranking out a lot of heals.
Yeah.
Like absolutely heavy strong heals.
Or like Sam kind of updated his warden build today, and he was like kind of like a 60-40, like 60% damage, 40% heals is kind of how he's doing it right now, and that'd be pretty good.
I did a match with that warden earlier. He's cranking out heals like a healer main, but he's doing more damage than anyone on the team. So answer me how that works.
Hold on, he just posted a screenshot. Oh my God, Sam! Delete this build, dude.
What have you done, Sam? You already broke the meta.
4.38 million damage and just over 1 million heals in this match.
Unbelievable.
In his new warden setup. What's that setup, Sam? What are the sets?
Yeah, tell us the build, Sam. Go ahead and tell us the deets.
You'll win the email. If you tell us.
Oh, that's good. Only leave it to Sam Sam's gotten to the point now that when he theory crafts a build, he just wants a build where he doesn't even need the teammates anymore. All right. He wants it all. Mm-hmm. He's gonna heal himself, he's gonna be the lead damage.
If you wanted something done right, damn it.
He's just gonna do it all by himself.
So maybe he'll get us those sets here in a minute. But
I wouldn't hold your breath on it.
I think that's all I got to say about that, though, right? I think we pretty much summed it up, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we answered that question.
Wardens and DKs in some combination is absolutely the answer. And our third and final email is from Grizzly Khan. Grizzly Khan sent me a very long email, very, very good, very long email. I asked him if it was okay if I edit it down just a little bit to make it a little more concise. He said that was totally cool. So I'm going to be reading this, but just know that it's been edited a bit. Grizzly says, Imperial City has a unique set of features that create an interesting and engaging area to explore. The unique currency, the sewers, the city, the variety of bosses and quests, and the mixture of PvE and PvP makes for a dynamic that can only be found in Imperial City. However, there are some obstacles for the average player who might want to dive in. The PvE aspects alone can be quite challenging. Add to that the constant presence of gankers and the unintuitive map design, and you have a piece of content that is integral to the PvP experience, but has a high barrier of entry that turns many players off. I'll just kind of paraphrase this paragraph here. Basically, Imperial City has grown stagnant, which I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And then Grizzly asks, what would you guys do to revitalize Imperial City and make it more attractive to newer and less experienced players? Davis, why don't you go first, man? You have any ideas? How we could make Imperial City more populated?
So I got a couple of ideas. My first one is more of kind of a joke, but it's one that we've kind of talked about. Is that one of the things that we've always said would be really cool for Imperial City is changing up the Molag Ball boss in the center sewers. You know, we've talked a long time about it. It's a really cool looking boss. The animations are really cool. The arena that you fight him in is really cool. It's kind of where all the factions meet. You have to do this real kind of long drawn out, sub boss fights, and then he comes out. And really, if you can get that Molag Ball fight off and there's other factions and you're fighting them while that boss is out there, it's one of the best experiences of PvP in this game, in my opinion. Like, it's absolute amazing. Fun. It's just complete chaos. There's so much strategy. You're trying to think like, all right, I got to watch out for this boss. And so we've talked a lot about that boss, the tankiness of that boss. Perfect. That is one of the tankiest bosses out there. But there's no threat of that boss. He is not going to kill you.
You can solo him.
Yeah, there's just no threat from it. So to actually revamp that boss and make it an actual threatening fight, we always joke that the banner bosses that you have to kill before he comes out are much more difficult to deal with than he is. And so factoring in some of those, making that boss much more difficult, much more of a fight, and making the rewards much more worth it. If it's going to be this really hard to beat, hard takedown boss,
Yeah, it
let's
needs to
get
be
some,
more than 13 Telvar.
yes, let's get some wild rewards. I mean, if you make that boss enough of a target, and you've got 30 players in there trying to fight to take them down, like, make the rewards worth it. So that's kind of the one. That's kind of the first easy one. I feel like we always talk about when we're in the sewers. And then the second one, a little bit more of a more thought out, harder to change. I don't think will happen type change, but I just feel that the sewers, with the underground sewers as well as the Imperial City up top, it's an awesome experience. It's when they do like weekend events and things like that, and it's packed. It's so much fun. But I just think I think they overestimated what it was, and I just feel like the map is just too big. The up top map is too big. The below map is too big. When you combine them together, it's really too big. And so what it does is that when there are players in there, you're rarely going to see them. And I feel like that, and I think this could carry over into Cyrodiil too. Same thing there. Cyrodiil has a lot of really cool experiences as well, but they've made those maps so big because they almost made it like, okay, what do we do if every player in the game joins in these modes? We've got to have a map big enough for that. And I really wish they would have made it where it doesn't have to hold every player in the game, because what that causes is a lot of running. Players are doing a lot of running, a lot of traveling, and really I feel like all that's done is just take players away from it. Players got tired of running. They don't want to go down there and run. They don't want to go to Cyrodiil and run around. And so it really kind of keeps players away from it. I feel like if they would have made it more of a smaller, focused area where it's more action, it's more fights, it's more BG level actual combat, I feel like it would just be so much more higher population.
Yeah. And like now, now it's what's done is done, right? So we have the map that we have.
It
so
is.
I mean, something they could rectify that with though is like you were just saying, like buff the crap out of Molag Bal, make it like, a once a year thing that happens that a group manages to take Molag Bal down. I think it should be like that level of like one of the maybe the hardest boss in the entire game.
Yeah, he's the original, he's the OG main boss.
And then also do that, and then once he gets summoned, once the fight starts, put a notification on everyone's screen in Imperial City. Molag Bal has been summoned, so people know there's action going on down there, and they'll go
don't even do it in just Imperial City. I think you do it game wide. What would that hurt?
Game wide, sure, yeah, that'd be fine. But I mean, at least in Imperial City, though, that would be like that would draw people there. Like, oh crap, okay, let's do this. It's happening. It's going down. I can't remember, like. It's been 3 months since the last time someone tried to fight Molag Bal, like if it was something like that, like it was a rare thing, you better bring everybody you got in the guild. That'd be so awesome.
That would be amazing if just factions started flooding, like people have Molag Bal down to half health, and just everybody and their dog would be running in there.
You wouldn't dare summon him with like a 3 squat, like that would just be silly, unless you were just for the memes,
That is a great idea. I really like that idea.
My answer, I actually told this to Grizzly the other night because we were doing Imperial City, and I was like, I'll just give you my answer early. Literally anything I think would go a long way. I think these battleground weekends, I think, have shown us that the PvP community doesn't require much in terms of incentive to like get excited about PvP. Like these weekend events are nothing. It's the most like smallest possible thing. And those queue times are fast. People are in there. People are excited about it. They're getting serious about the objective and all of that. It's a successful thing, I would say. And it's like, it's almost nothing. So I feel like that's proven that, just any effort at all is enough. So, like these Battlegrounds weekend events are every few weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. So just on one of the other weekends, let's do an Imperial City sort of like equivalent kind of thing. That would be That would
That's a
be
great.
a
I
kind of
mean,
an easy thing they could do.
that's a great point. I mean, what's the event every year that they do an event every year where Imperial City just gets flooded with population?
It's Mid-Year Mayhem, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah. I guess it is that one. I was thinking that, but there's a lot of things that get flooded with Mid-Year Mayhem. But yeah, Mid-Year Mayhem. I mean, you go to Imperial City and it's packed. Everybody and their dogs
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, just any incentive at all, I feel like people will jump right on it. I honestly I don't think Imperial City, in my opinion, I don't think Imperial City really needs to be changed all that much. I think it's pretty awesome how it is. I think it's a good sell how it is right now. You just need to remind people that it's there, like those obstacles that you're talking about, Grizzly, about, the PvE aspects are hard. You could get ganked, all that stuff. I want to go back to Elden Ring. uh, there's an element of danger in that in those FromSoft games. You have something valuable to lose all the time, and it changes how you approach that game. You're careful. You don't just go barreling through haphazardly. You take your time. You make sure you're prepared. You scout the area first, because if you take a wrong step, you're going to lose all this valuable stuff that you have, and it's going to be a pain. So I think you have to adopt that mindset, and that's part of the fun. The fact that you have something to lose is what's fun about it. Um, so I think if we try to cater too much to these players, to these newer players that are kind of turned off by these things, I feel like we will end up losing what is actually cool about Imperial City.
Hmm.
I don't think we necessarily have to try to cater to everyone all the time. Like this community of players is having fun over here. This community of players is having fun over there. If we try to cater to these guys, it's going to ruin it for these guys. Why mess all that up? I think just a reminder that Imperial City exists is enough. I think if they just did some simple UI redesign within the menus, that would probably have a 500% increase in how many people find their way to Imperial City. Like if you just had a PvP menu, like this is where you go for PvP, and then do you want to do Battlegrounds, or do you want to do Cyrodiil, or do you want to do Imperial City? You can just see it all clearly right there. That alone, I think, would just bring a lot of people there. Just like, I guess Imperial City, why not? I'll do IC today. There it is. Because you get in these routines. Like I log in and I'll press. I do BGs, right? So I press the P key, go to the group menu, queue up for BGs, and off I go. But if I were in the habit of hitting a key that just takes me to a general PvP menu, and then I see options there, I might click something different this time.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
there are very simple things they could do that
Yeah.
would have a big effect.
And I was asking, I think I was asking you this the other day of like, there's not like outside the menu, you talk how it's hard to get there in the menu, but there's not like a big entrance in the game to get there. We talked about maybe in Cyrodiil you could maybe get in there, but like,
You used to could from Cyrodiil, but I don't know if that's true anymore.
well, even if
Yeah.
so, like that's not an easy entrance to get there. Like
Yeah.
you got to travel to Cyrodiil and then get to the middle of Cyrodiil without
Yeah.
dying, and then get there. Like like in the major cities, like in these major capital cities, make a portal, and they're making NPC there that's like, come help us in Imperial City. You go through that portal, teleports you straight to Imperial City. Make bring attention to it. Like that's not that wouldn't take them that long to do. Just make visual things that attract people to these type of places.
Yeah. Um, yeah, very minimal things it would take. I think it's just a matter of this, their development resources just aren't being focused on that. They have other things they're working on. That's old content.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so yeah, that's the answer. Easy as that, Grizz.
Easy as that.
Grizz says, P.S. Sit chair night when? Well, we just did it Saturday night. It was awesome. But we are going to start doing some more of that. I'll talk about that actually here in just 1 second. Anything else about any of that, Davius? Imperial City or any of these other email things you want to revisit?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it.
So we have decided that Davius alone will choose the winner. I will give you my my pick, but it's ultimately your choice.
Okay.
Hold on. I got to think about it.
You got to scroll through. I've already got mine actually. My gut already told me. I already picked mine out, but I'm curious.
Actually, I actually really like that because it kind of takes the pressure off of me. I just kind of say
You
whatever I
like
say.
putting, yeah, you just like putting the pressure on me. This is real where the true story goes here.
I like the Imperial City. I like Grizzly Con.
Okay. Once again, we're 0 for 2 on this. I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I actually, this is going to sound crazy. I'm actually going to go with Vocal Tick. I'm going to pick
Okay.
Vocal Tick, and here's why. Like, obviously, we value GrizzlyCon Uncle Sam tremendously. We love them. You know, we give them shout outs all the time, love sending them emails. But I think the biggest thing to me is that Vocal Tick is somebody who hasn't been in the Discord, hasn't joined the guild, and he's taken that step. He's joined in the fun, he's joined into the crowd, and that to me, that's huge. Like we absolutely want to build this group, expand this community, and so when we're adding somebody to the community, to me, that's just the tip top. That's what we're all about.
All right, guys, you heard it. You heard how to get a free million gold right there.
Hey, I go by my gut, so you never know. So I'm not saying just a guarantee, but that's the one that stood out to me this week.
All right, yeah, totally awesome. That'll be easy because he's in the guild, so I just have his that name already. Vocal Tick. Next time I log in, which will probably be shortly after we end this recording, I'll have that coming your way. If for some reason it doesn't show up, just send me an email and remind me because I'm forgetful sometimes. But I shouldn't forget. Okay, nice. Thanks for the emails, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Sam, Sam so says boo fun. Hiss because he did not win.
He's hissing us.
Sam, you had a real shot this time, dude.
Yeah, like, honestly, I really enjoyed all the emails this week, really, and I enjoyed the ones last week. Like I think we could both say this. Like we are absolutely having fun with these emails. This is what we're all about. Just chatting about ESO, talking about scenarios. Like these emails have been a whole lot of fun.
Top 3 for sure, Sam.
Sam, you are absolutely top 3 for sure. You write that one down. You write that one down right now.
We have a guild. The guild's name is Stoon's Goons. It's the best named guild on the PCNA server. And you know what? We decided we're just going to go ahead and make it the best PvP guild in the game. Mm-hmm. I think we just decided we're going to go ahead and do that.
I've worn him down, everybody. He's really starting to like the guild. It's happening.
It's kind of occurred to me that this has already happened. You know, like it is sort of accidentally become a really great PvP guild. It's not something we've really made an effort to do. We've just sort of accumulated these friends. We all play a lot of BGs. We're just always hanging out. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm always saying on the show, anyone who's in the Discord is a fully fledged goon. That's absolutely true. And I'm like, man, we got ourselves a little guild here.
Yeah.
So we've decided to go ahead and try to do a little something with this thing. We've kicked up recruitment just a little bit. We're not going to like go crazy and try to like have 400 people in the guild. But you know, if I'm in a BG and I see someone do well and it's someone that I don't really know, my plan is I'm not going to just shoot out invites. You know, what I want to do is like maybe just say something like, whoa, you got like 30 kills. Holy crap, dude, that's amazing what your build. Just talk to that person, you know?
Yeah.
And if we get along, hey, you should join our guild.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
So you can expect to kind of see some people coming in at a slow trickle here, but we already have a pretty good little base right now. Sam says, no longer just the best named guild. Now it's literally the best PvP guild in the game that happens to also be the best named guild. Yep. That is
absolutely
all true.
There it is.
I'm going to double all those reactions there. I'm going to have to actually, that exact phrase is actually what I'm going to have to say. This is
Sam wrote it up for us right there. There we go.
We have a guild. The guild's name is Stoon's Goons, the literal best PvP guild in the game that also happens to be the best named guild. Oh, I'm going to try it. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to start doing some stuff. We have a couple of ideas for some events that we're going to start doing. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's basically just going to be a scaled up version of what we've already been doing for a really long time. We're just kind of playing with friends. Mm-hmm. what we're going to start doing from now on is Wednesday nights. So the first one's going to be tomorrow night, actually. Or if you're listening to this on Wednesday, it's today. Or it was yesterday. I'm sorry. This comes out on Thursday. It was yesterday. Sorry. Tomorrow, as of the time we're recording this.
You're cutting out a day of your editing time there.
Yeah, for real. Sometimes it does come out on Wednesday if I finish up early, so it could happen.
Okay.
Wednesday nights are BG night. I kind of have a loose idea of how this is going to go. We're going to try this, see how it goes, and we'll refine the idea from there. But basically, the idea is we're not going to have any signups. No one signs up. It's just we're doing this thing Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time is when we'll start. Or I'm sorry, 8 p.m. Central Time. Mm-hmm. And just anyone can show up. You can show up late. You can leave early. I'm thinking of it like it's a party. It's not like an organized event that you have to be on time and these specific players are all playing each other and there's a winner and all that. This is a Battlegrounds party that you can just kind of come to and hang out and leave. Go talk to these people. Go talk to these people. It's going to be kind of like that.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to do this thing that's going to work for any number of people, anyone who wants to come. It's not just specifically these people who signed up. We also want to be very flexible with people's time. That's why it's like a come and go. This thing is going on. Pop in, pop out. People have things come up. People have busy schedules and stuff like that. We know how it goes. So here's how the standard event is going to go for now. We're going to have as many people as we can show up. We're going to use a random generator on the internet to pair everyone into duos. So everyone will be in a random duo that shows up. If there's like one odd player left over, they can just queue up solo or whatever. But basically, we're all going to queue up in the group queue as a duo. And then kind of the quote unquote rule will be if two or more groups get a queue pop, then you accept the queue. And, you go have fun playing some BGs. Probably more than just two will pop, but I think if at least two pop, then go ahead and take it. Mm-hmm. And then if you didn't get the queue pop, then just stay in queue and keep following the same rule. If two or more queues pop, take the queue, go have fun.
And keep enjoying the party. Yeah,
and, watch streams. Whoever does get a queue pop, if you feel comfortable doing it, turn your stream on, let people watch while they're waiting for their queue. And in the meantime, we're just hanging out and telling jokes and having a good time. The goal basically is to just populate the group queue so we can all have fast queue times. We can have some good games against some good players. We're not necessarily trying to have like this team versus this team. We're all just trying to play a bunch of BGs.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm trying to decide if we want to just randomly put everyone into pairs at the beginning and then that's your buddy for the night, or if we should shuffle them in between. I think probably just in the beginning. I think we'll probably just kind of have to wing it because people will be coming and going and stuff. We'll be like, okay, so-and-so needs a partner. Yeah. Why don't you guys,
Well, and I think the biggest part of what we're going for is that really the most important part of all this is just people showing up. Like, just come in and whenever you show up, just show up. We're going to make it work. Like, we'll find a way to get you a partner. If you want to show up and you absolutely want to be teamed up with somebody, like, awesome. Yeah. Team up with that person. We have no problem with that. Like, that's fun too. So I just think that's like you said, that the description of it's just a BG party is absolutely what we're going for. I think it's just the goal is just to everybody come and have fun playing some BGs.
Right. And any rules are really just kind of loose rules. Even like what I'm saying, like if two or more groups get to queue, then accept it. If you're the only group that gets a queue and you actually just really want to accept it, then just take it.
Yeah.
No one's going to get mad.
We'll have fun watching the stream.
Yeah. So it's kind of a hangout, sort of Battlegrounds focused party is really what it's all about. And so that's going to kind of be the standard format of the event is kind of the idea for now. And like I said, once we actually do it, we'll learn from that and we'll see if we need to change anything about it. But that's basically how we already play all the time, and a lot of the times we'll do group queue or solo queue and we'll queue up at the same time and end up in the same match. A lot of times we're on opposing teams, but we're still on comms together and it's like, I'm going to get you, watch out, that kind of stuff. It's really fun. I also have the Discord set up so that there's like the main voice chat room, and then there are voice chats for each Battlegrounds team. There's like Fire Drakes and Pit Demons and all that. So I was thinking, like, say people do end up on a team together. They're both on the Fire Drake. So if they want to, they can just hop down to the Fire Drake's voice channel, and now they're straight up a pre-made, and
yeah.
Or they could stay in the main voice too, or hop back and forth.
Yep.
It's like a party. You're going to this, you're going to see what the people in the kitchen are doing. You're going to see what the people out in the yards doing.
I was thinking about it too. Even if like you said, like if we got a whole bunch of people and 3 of the teams get a Q pop and maybe there's still 5 teams that don't have a Q pop. If all if those 3 teams are all in the same BG and they're all on separate teams, they can all go hop in one of the channels and they can all just be in that BG together. Saying I'm gonna come, like you just said, I'm gonna come get you, but they're in that. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow night, or last night if you're listening to this on Thursday. We're also gonna start doing sit chair nights. I think we're gonna try to do it every Sunday. I'm gonna see if that's something I can keep up with. I think it is.
Sit chair night. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot.
So Sunday nights will be sit chair nights. You got to come along. Now, oftentimes it is just kind of a PvE outing, but it's fun. We're hanging out. It's a very low pressure situation. We get a fair amount of Telvar while we're at it. And PvP does happen from time to time. I mean, we just heard my story from the other night. Me and Grizzly Khan had a ton of PvP action in the sewers. So that's going to be, and those are our 2 events that we have right now. So Wednesday nights will be BG night. Sunday nights will be Imperial City Sewer night. I think I'm going to try to work in like a PvE thing. Maybe Monday nights we'll have if we can get a decent little PvE group together, it'd be nice to like progress through some, like get some skins, get some personalities from some of the DLC dungeons and stuff.
Can't remember what the personality's called, but there's a personality. Beast. Yep, the Beast personality.
Yeah.
I want that one bad.
I want that one too. There's a bunch of them I'd like to have, and that stuff we can do it. Shout out to Exolion. I'm sure lots of people do this. I don't do a lot of PvE, but he kind of gave me this idea of how to do progression. Just give yourself a 2-hour limit. However far you get in 2 hours, just stop. And then next week we'll see how much further we can get in 2 hours. And he was saying like, they've been able to complete every single thing they've attempted by doing that. Just 2 hours this week, 2 hours next week. Eventually we'll get there. And so that's how we've been doing Black Rose, and it's working. It's great.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So I haven't started the PvE nights is not official yet. So just stand by on that. But Wednesday night, BG night, Sunday night, Imperial City, that is what we're going to do. So, scrollingpodcast@gmail.com if you'd like to join the guild, Stoons Goons. Literally the best PvP guild in the game that happens to also be the best named guild on the PCNA server.
There you go. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there.
So, that's the idea. Of course, future plugs won't be nearly that long. I just kind of had to explain the new ideas there. Okay. If you'd like to support the show, one easy thing you can do is go to the Apple Podcasts app, specifically the Apple Podcast app, find our show and give us a written review and a rating. That just helps us appear higher in the search results whenever people search for relevant keywords. So if you could do that, that would help us out. If you'd like to go a step further than that and help us out in a bigger way, you can go to patreon.com/scrollingpodcast and receive Stoons Boon for $3 a month.
Stoons Boon.
I'm still so proud of the Stoons Boon.
It's so good. Stoons Boon.
Patreon tier name.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I love how all of the Stoons Goon stuff is all just fallen into place so perfectly over time.
So perfect.
It's great. Grizzly Con says, what a turnaround from, don't join this guild. No.
Hey, it took me almost 100 episodes, Grizz, but we've worn them down.
What it has taken is for the guild to kind of form itself behind my back almost. I just kind of like looked up one day. It's like, we have a functioning guild here.
We've got a lot of good PvP players here.
But yeah, I've always been kind of reluctant to try to run a guild. It always has just seemed like a lot of work, especially like other guilds that I'm in. I know that it is a lot of work, and I don't want to do that. But I think we have some ideas here that's really not going to be a lot of work, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yep, absolutely.
Patreon.com/scrolling podcast to receive Stoon's Boon for $3 a month. What that gets you is some extra Discord benefits, including access to listen to us record this show live, like we're doing right now, like Grizzly Khan and Uncle Sam are doing right now. You'll get a guaranteed individual shout out on every single episode. You'll also have access to the Booncast, which is a short bonus podcast recording that I do on the off weeks. So you get a little something every week. We have videos, written build guides, and of course, the greatest gift of all, that nice feeling in your heart, knowing that you're helping us cover the expenses of making the show and possibly even helping us improve the quality of the show in the future. So that is patreon.com/scrollingpodcast. If you can't do the Patreon right now, then just come and join the Discord. That doesn't cost anything. We have one of the best communities on the internet, probably literally the best PvP community in the Elder Scrolls Online. Please come join us. Doesn't cost anything at all. scrollingpodcast@gmail.com. We'll send you an invite.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the chat. Hold on. We had some people leave. I got to consult my screenshots. Shout out to the chat. Grizzly Khan, Gummy Bear, Mother of Dragons, Crimson, Uncle Sam. Anyone else? Thank you guys very much for joining us. I appreciate you being here.
My buddy, Gummy Bear, in here a little bit. Did you say that?
Did I say Gummy Bear? I think I said Gummy Bear. Really appreciate you guys being here. Shout out to my veteran Black Rose Prison Squad, Zoe, Exolion, and Bill Murray subbing for Shadow this week. Bill Murray himself. Really good tank. Got us through it. We did it in like an hour and a half. It was really smooth, really good. So thanks, guys. Looking forward to tomorrow. Shout out to the Elder Goons, the OGs. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for so long and being our friends. Glad you guys are here. Shout out to our Stoon's Boon recipients, our Patreon supporters. That is Porkbody, Toadster, Gummy Bear, Grizzly Khan, and Thomas. Guys, thank you so much. Anything else, Davius?
I think that's everything.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time. Me.
Clean the tools, right?
Oh yeah, this is my tool right here. This golden voice right here. It's like George Costanza being a hand model.
Oh, it's perfect. Get the oven mitts.
Yeah, like the freaking, or no, he met the guy that had like the cryogenic freaking orbs on his hands or whatever, right? I'm not keeping up with chat here. My bad, guys.
Oh, you're getting called a tool.
Oh, hey.
Oh, whoa, hey, everybody. Let's keep it civil.
We have standards here in the Goons. All right, I guess we're going to go ahead and get started.
Hold on, before we get, I got to get your reaction.
Okay.
It's very minor. Right. I feel like I've already built it up too much.
Okay.
But this is my last day of work this week. Off for the rest of the week.
Whoa, dude, my weekend is starting right now.
Don't I know it?
Hold on. Do you have any plans tomorrow?
Nope. Or wait. No. Jeez, how about that? Is that what you're looking for?
Okay.
Is this what we're looking for? I don't. You put me on the spot. I don't.